Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here on Wave Now. I'm Myra Ansari. We are going live to Metro Hall, where Mayor Craig Greenberg is going to be talking about a possibility of establishing Amtrak service between Louisville and Chicago. That's pretty exciting. A grant is supposedly going to help support the first step with this project. The mayor is set to speak about this right now. He's getting ready to walk up to the podium. Let's listen in.
There's Jerry. He's crossing the street right now.
Okay, perfect.
Jaywalking.
That's all right. Cameras are turned this way. That's right.
We're at Howard.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry. How are you? Good to see you. All right, you guys ready? This is going to mostly be you guys asking questions, but just thought I'd start with a statement. We are very excited to announce that Louisville, in partnership with KIPTA, Indiana, Governor Beshear, Congressman McGarvey, have all worked together to secure a $500,000 grant to help work to make Amtrak service to Louisville a reality again. This is the first step in the project. Thanks to President Biden and some of the federal legislation that has passed and a focus on increasing train service across our country, we put together this partnership to reach out, to begin the planning process to get Amtrak back to Louisville. And we're excited today to announce that we have been awarded a $500,000 planning grant to begin to study and plan for this to happen again for those who want to enjoy rail service to Louisville. This planning would be for rail service that goes from Louisville to Indianapolis and then on to Chicago. That would be the spur that we're looking at planning right now. We are very excited about this as we look to continue to provide new ways to get to and from Louisville to help boost our economy and provide people with more transportation options. Thank you to everyone who helped in making this grant application a reality, along with President Biden and everyone in D.C. that approved it. Special thanks again to everyone with KIPTA, Governor Beshear, Congressman McGarvey. Great partnership to make this happen.
How will the money be spent in this study, and what kind of questions need to be answered?
So there are a lot, and we've got some folks here. Mike King and Jared can speak to this more. But this is just the beginning. We need to plan a route. We need to do studies of the market and the demand for this service. So it's both technical questions as well as market demand things as well. Mike, do you want anything else? Michael King, who's our director of the Office of Planning here at Louisville Metro.
Sure. So, and the mayor said it pretty well, but this is sort of a phased approach to this. So the first phase is helping us establish a framework for what's called a service development plan. And then the service development plans where it will really get into the minutia of what infrastructure is needed, what sort of routes we would be looking at, station locations, those kind of things. The next step after that is the actual implementation of the infrastructure improvements. And then the final phase is the funding to provide the passenger rail service.
How realistic is this? I mean, for years we heard about an East End bridge, and a lot of us thought it would never happen, and it did.
Right.
Do you feel confident this is going to happen?
Well, the timing is right now, because the federal government is committed to expanding rail service across the country. We have a president who supports this, and so now is the unique moment in time. There is a lot more funding available. If this planning study goes well and we're able to prove that there's a demand and show that there's a route that will work, we believe we will be very competitive for additional rounds of federal funding. You know, one of the unique things about this particular route is that 99% of the route is in the state of Indiana to service Louisville. So we are working closely with our friends in Indiana, the city of Indianapolis as well. KIPTA is a regional planning authority that includes representation from Indiana as well. And so we're optimistic. You can never be sure, but we are optimistic. This will only happen with federal funds. And now is this unique moment in time. What year?
Yes.
It's too early to tell. I mean, a lot of that is driven by the federal government as well. This planning will take what?
Phase one will start next year. FRA has the final say-so on when this first phase is actually completed, but we'll be as aggressive as we can. I don't think it'll take more than a year for this first phase, is the hope.
Is the idea to use infrastructure that's already in place, or is it to build a new route that will connect the two cities?
I think that'll come from the service development plan, which is sort of the phase 2 of this. It makes the most sense to capitalize on the infrastructure that's already there. But some of that infrastructure absolutely needs some upgrades to be able to handle passenger rail, to be what they're framing this as is car competitive. So to be able to travel kind of same travel distance times as cars would. So there may have to be some improvements. There may be instances, though, where some new infrastructure would have to be constructed.
You obviously believe there's a demand now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We hear often from people around the city that are looking to travel by rail, and to be able to go to Indianapolis and then on to Chicago, that's a great first route for the city.
The Amtrak maps that are online right now indicate a possible station in Jeffersonville and a possible station in Louisville. Is that going to be part of the study as well?
Yes.
Put a station?
Yeah, we'd like to have one here in Louisville. But yes, that's currently part of the planning, is to figure all of that out.
I know you mentioned you're going to go this week speaking of Las Vegas going $2 billion project, 10 passenger rail projects. Can you talk a little bit about the connection at all between Biden and Biden's plan and what's happening in Louisville?
Well, President Biden loves Amtrak. He loves rail service. He spent much of his life on Amtrak chains in the Northeastern corridor, commuting to and from work when he was a member of the United States Senate. And so part of his push for more infrastructure throughout the entire country is focused on improving and expanding rail service. And so that's why now is the unique moment in time for us here in Louisville to capitalize on this federal focus on expanding and enhancing rail service to bring Amtrak back to Louisville.
But the funding is separate.
Well, the funding was appropriated by Congress with the support of President Biden. And there are many different stages. There are many different pots of money. This is the first phase to ultimately restore Amtrak service to Louisville.
Let's say your study determines that yes, there is demand, and yes, we can afford it. How difficult will it be to acquire those routes from the companies who own the rails right now?
It'll certainly it'll be a challenge, but those are conversations that are already happening at the federal level. That the owners of those routes and the people that operate predominantly freight on those, that this is coming, and this is something that the federal government is supportive of and pushing. So there will be some. Probably some challenging conversations ahead on some of that, but it is something that is going to move forward.
Okay, as the city had in conversations with the Louisville, Indiana rail,
I believe it's actually. Jared, is that the one? Do you remember which one it is? The route. Who owns that route? Is it L&I?
Yes.
L&I is part of a much larger railroad conglomerate. We did reach out to them to give them a heads up that they were doing this application. So that's the conversations that have happened to this point.
Could you speak from a regional aspect of what the benefits of having that line would be?
The economic.
Here, stand here, Jared.
Excuse me. The economic.
First of all, give us your name, spell your proper title.
Jared Haley, JARRETT HALEY, and I'm the executive director of KIPTA. The economic development opportunities are very exciting. I can speak from our board perspective. I don't think there has been an item at our board that has drawn as much interest as this project has, and that goes from our communities in Bullitt County to Trimble County. So even our rural communities are very excited about the potential travel opportunities, the tourism aspect, as well as the economic development. So I think that this is a tremendous opportunity for our entire region. And we're very thankful for our partnership working with Louisville Metro and the town of Clarksville and getting this application submitted.
Mr. Mayor, if this happens, I know it's a big thing, if this happens, what does it mean to the city?
It's yet another transportation option. It's another way for people to come to and from Louisville at hopefully a lower cost, an environmentally and sustainable way. And it's a way that more and more people, I believe, across America are looking to travel. And that's what we want. We want more people to come to Louisville, to visit Louisville, and we want Louisville residents to have more ways to travel, to see loved ones, to see friends, to do business as well. This is a really unique opportunity, and we're very excited about it.
Once that study
Last question.
is complete, that first step is done, are you able to talk about how additional funding might be secured?
Sure. So just like the funding we secured here, it'll be competitive. It'll go through the Federal Railroad Administration. With that one, the phase one will determine sort of what that cost of phase two is going to be, and then there is a 10% cost share, whether that be locally at the state level or however that we would need to provide at that time.
Yeah, two things, and then we'll wrap up. Just two fun things. One is this is a very prescribed process by the federal government. The steps that you follow to ultimately restore Amtrak service to Louisville. The bulk of the money, as you just heard, will come from the federal government. This can only happen and will only happen with the support of the federal government. And so we will continue to work with President Biden's administration, with Congressman McGarvey, with our United States senators, with Governor Beshear and his administration and the state of Indiana to make this a reality. We think this is a really exciting opportunity and we're excited to pursue it. Thank you all very much. Have a great weekend, guys. I'm sure I'll probably see you all somewhere. Thank you.